Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 170. We are back for another weekly episode. You are probably wondering, whoa, where have you guys been at? Like, I missed last week's weekly episode. Like, did it not upload? I don't know.
There wasn't a technical error.
Just kidding.
Actually.
We do know. Yeah, there wasn't an issue. We actually just did not record an episode last week. Our last episode posted was the 25 words or less fast break video, but last week we just decided that we were going to typically record on Tuesday or Wednesdays, and we only could on Tuesday last week, and it was right after the Monday night game with the Bills and Bengals, and obviously the Damar Hamlin situation, and we just didn't feel like it was right for us to sit here and talk about playoff picture scenarios when like that was going on. It just didn't feel right, and we didn't really have time the rest of the week to do one, so we just figured weekly picks is over. Like, let's just wait till first. We're recording this on Monday. We usually don't record on a Monday. We're going to post this weekly episode Tuesday, so that's when you're listening to it. So, yeah, that's like an update of why we recorded this today.
Yeah, we'll probably do a high-tempo fast break this week.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll get right back to our normal schedule from that point on. It'll be back to Thursdays at noon. You can expect podcast weekly. But yeah, we were just we ended up just kind of taking the week off, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, it wasn't. I mean, and we didn't really have time to do it anyways, so... but speaking of the last episode, the 25 words or less, go check it out if you did not watch it. It was a super fun episode. Been posting the clips of it on TikTok, and everybody's loving it. So if you're watching us from TikTok, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
Exactly. So yeah, like I said, it's Monday night right now. We are currently watching the college football championship game between Georgia and TCU. Georgia's up 10-0 here in the first quarter. I expect this to get out of hand. I took Georgia minus 13.5. Respectively. TCU, it's a good run. But I think I made the right pick. We'll see. But
it's 10-0 with 6 minutes to go, and this game's over.
6 minutes in, you mean?
Yeah. 6 minutes in. Yeah.
Like there's plenty of time left for TCU to come back, but it probably won't happen. But let's get into the actual news, because a lot of things did happen while we were gone, and mainly this weekend. Starting off with the Detroit Lions. Holy crap, TCU just had a huge play.
Oh my word, this game's not over. No way, this game's not over. This game is not over, folks.
We're going to keep giving you updates, even though you already know what happened.
Yeah.
Lions, Packers, Sunday Night Football. What a freaking game this was. The Packers have a chance to get into the playoffs. Lions are playing for nothing, quote unquote, is what everyone was saying. Everybody picked the Packers, except my boy Tony Dungy on Sunday night. He's the only guy that picked the Lions out of that whole crew. Lions get the win.
It was so hype, even though, I mean, it was a slightly bittersweet that we didn't get into the playoffs.
During the game, though, it was hype.
It wasn't. Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, like, I was sad immediately before the game happened. And then, like, second quarter of the Packers-Lions game, I almost forgot about it. It became beat the Packers.
Yeah.
Was all that I was thinking about. It was so nice to beat them and to take them out of the playoffs. And just because all the shit they talked.
Literally.
Coming into this game, and then... even better, the win got even sweeter with the Quay Walker acting like an absolute buffoon.
Yeah, what does that do?
On the field. I mean, that was one of the most classless moves I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've never seen
on a football
that.
field.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Especially after what had happened, this past week with everything with Damar Hamlin,
Yeah, it was an absolute idiotic situation for Quay Walker. And then when he was walking off the field, I mean, clearly upset with himself, but I don't even know why they got to show the tunnel clip of him.
Yeah.
Why even show it? He doesn't need any more attention. No. He already messed up. And
second time being ejected this year too. He was ejected.
Yeah, what was the
in
first one?
I'm not sure.
Me either.
I don't know.
Me either.
I watch the Packers. But yeah, the Lions, we moved to 9-8. Not moved, but we finished 9-8. Winning record. What a great year. Obviously, we were watching the Rams-Seahawks game, freaking out because the Rams had an opportunity to win. I would say the officiating was really, really poor in that game. Not saying that they wanted the Seahawks to win or anything, but it kind of seemed like it. Like, it was really bad officiating in that game. But the Seahawks win, so it didn't matter for us, but it didn't matter. That's what I'm saying. It didn't matter for us, like whether the Rams lost or won. We were going to go out with one goal, and that was to beat the Packers. That's what Dan Campbell said in the pregame. He said, well, we don't want them to get in, so we're going to stop that from happening. Lions, It wasn't the prettiest game playing in Lambeau, cold weather, first primetime game for them all year. It was kind of sloppy at the beginning, but for the most part, the Lions outplayed the Green Bay like this entire game. Like,
I would agree.
Green Bay is like they're straight up just not that good of a team. Like,
no, not at all.
Like, we did not play our best game, and we came out with the dub.
Yeah, and Jamal Williams gets his 17th on the year, breaks Barry Sanders' record. This win, one of my favorite parts about it was just the memes that came from the win.
There was a lot of memes.
There was so many in our player introductions.
Yeah, those were
half
awesome.
of them were jokes from our team. Like, our whole team didn't take them seriously.
I saw a tweet that was like, "This seems like a Key and Peele."
Yeah, exactly.
Literally did. Yeah,
it was. You could clearly tell it was our first time on primetime.
Yeah,
we were enjoying.
They were enjoying the moment. Yeah,
yeah, it was awesome. When Jamal makes the anime joke and his I don't know who
I have no clue what he even said.
It was an anime reference.
Yeah.
He referenced it in his post game again. But then his post game interview where he breaks down into tears, incredible.
That was one of the craziest interviews.
And then at the end of the interview, he's pissed off.
Gets hyped.
He's so like, we are the best team.
Yeah.
That was
awesome because
awesome.
It got me like kind of sad when he was saying that. I was like, damn, dude, like that's sad.
Yeah,
because you never see Jamal like that emotional. I mean, like in a sad way.
Yeah.
And then obviously out of nowhere he just gets and by the way, we are the Lions and like just starts
playing with us.
like that was I don't even watch TV. Like,
what's up with him and that? He says that in every interview. I don't even watch TV really, so like
he just watches anime, man. But yeah, what a great game. I mean, like it was just I got so hype watching the end of because we all like went to bed pretty much to watch this game, and I was sitting in my bed getting freaking hyped, dude. The trick play where the hook and ladder pass to Amon-Ra and flips it to DeAndre Swift, and Penei Sewell around the edge just lights up Rasul Douglas. Like, what a crazy play to run from Ben Johnson. And obviously he's going to be getting head coaching offer. He already has gotten 2 requests to be interviewed for head coaching.
Who's I saw the Colts one. Who's the other one?
Texans was the other one.
Just don't even leave. Just stay one more year.
Penei Sewell made a joke.
The players make him
he's
better.
not that good of a coach anyways. The players make him look good. Pretty funny. But yeah, like the reasons we win this game, Jamal Williams obviously breaking the record as TCU and Max Duggan just scores a touchdown. Breaking Barry Sanders' record. What a great game for him. The Jameson Williams play would have been so huge. Oh my God. It was off of the freaking flea flicker too. But obviously it gets called back. The refs tried to keep the Packers in this one. Kirby Joseph had to pick the ball off like 5 times before it actually counted, which was awesome to see him get his interception. But all around, this was just a phenomenal game, and I got so happy at the end of it. Like, I didn't even care that we didn't make the playoffs. Like, what a way to end the year. Hutchinson gets 2 more sacks. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah, there was one. I was sitting there, 50 seconds on the clock. I'm just watching the TV, and all of a sudden I get the alert on my phone that said we won, and I was so happy. Granted, like, we were kneeling the ball out, so it didn't really matter, but I was just like, this is amazing. Nothing is going to go wrong.
Down. Yeah, like, we weren't kicking that field goal. No, we're not giving Rodgers a chance to win the game. We're ending it ourselves. That's what we done all year. That's what I'm like. Everyone's like, oh, they're doing this because they got nothing to play for, or nothing to lose. No, dude, we do that if we like win and get in. We would have done that. Like,
and the announcers on the one came out and they're like, yeah, they're gonna kick it here, or they're gonna do a hard count here. They're not actually gonna snap the ball.
What?
I was sitting there and I was like, we're snapping.
You watched
the
a Lions game all year? Like,
probably not. I mean,
you should.
You should. And it was like literally like, what do you mean we're hard counting? This is we're snapping the football. Everybody on the field knows we are.
So obviously we're going to get into some NFL playoff talk and predictions, but first we still need to continue this Lions talk because it is now the off season for the Detroit Lions. We finish at 9-8. We have a crucial off season upcoming here. Not only is it because we're trying to build on this 9-win season, but we have a lot of things that you're not going to have very often in the offseason. We have 2 first-round picks, one of them being the 6th overall pick and then the 18th pick. We also have 2 second-round picks and a third-round pick, our own. And then we have, I'm pretty sure, the 3rd most cap space in the NFL. I don't know the actual number, but either way, we have one of the most amounts of cap space going into this offseason with a nice young roster that had a bunch of rookies do really well. Jameson Williams is a guy that we expect to take another leap next year. Not too many important free agents, and the important ones I assume we are going to bring back. So this offseason is going to be like crazy for the Lions.
Yeah, I see us bringing in a lot of players. I'm hopeful that it's just a ton of defensive players and some offensive backups. I think the offense is great. DeAndre Swift had some really, really nice runs on Sunday. He had some bad runs, but you take those with his explosive playmaking ability. Exactly. He's trying to make a play on every single touch that he gets. And I've become more understanding of that as I watch him continue to explode.
Jamal Williams too.
Exactly. When we need yards, we're just going to give it to Jamal. Mm-hmm. When we want a crazy play that could happen, we might want to score on this play. Put in DeAndre Swift. So I'm really hopeful that a lot of our attention is focused on defense.
Yeah, I think
beefing up that secondary and the middle line or in the linebackers, because Hutch even dominated. James Houston had an incredible end of the year. I'm so excited for the Lions next year. It sucks that the season ended yesterday.
I know,
and I cannot wait to watch them again.
Like, it just feels like this team needs to keep playing. Like, this team's dangerous if they're in the playoffs right now.
They are.
So much more than the Seahawks. Like, they played so bad against the Rams.
Geno looked terrible. He looked like Jets Geno.
I know. Like, we're better than Seattle. We're better than the Vikings. We're better than the Giants. Like, multiple teams that are in the playoffs, we are better than. But it's whatever. We lost against Carolina. Yeah, we are better than them. I'm mainly talking NFC teams, but I get what you're saying, though.
I forget their AFC.
But Jamal Williams is our key free agent this season. Him and DJ Chark, I would say, are the two main guys that for sure need to be brought back. But Jamal, 100%. I wouldn't care if Jamal sucked. Like, just the person, Jamal Williams, needs to be on this team next year. The way that he loves this team and he loves this organization. And I don't know if I've ever seen a Lion that, like, loves being here as much as he does. And a lot of guys on this team are like that. Yeah. But he is the leader of it.
Yeah, you watch Penei Sewell coming out of the tunnel, and he's going crazy coming out of the tunnel. Jamal's the same way.
Penei, dude.
Me too, dude. Cool. He's so cool, and I love when he gets mad.
He's always mad, dude.
He got blown up by Kenny Clark last week. Yeah. Got blown up. But Jamal, and it's not even that, he's a no bullshit guy as well. He's not gonna blame stuff on something else. It's his fault. We can go out and do this. I love that attitude. Jamal just has such a positive leadership ability, and it's clear what it's done for the Lions this year. I think he's been a huge part, and he is just a must bring back. There's no way there's any chance we let him go this offseason.
Yeah, he 100%. I don't think a team's going to be giving him the bag either, because he's a little bit on the older side, and you have guys like Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, just to name a few that are going to be free agents. Those guys are definitely going to be prioritized over Jamal Williams. But I would assume that Jamal Williams wants to come back. Like, I think before he even explores the free agent market, we're going to try and work something out with him. And DJ Chark, I think, should be back because he just adds another element to our receiving core that could be really dangerous next year. And then we have a few defensive guys that could, like, I do think Alex Anzalone, I would not mind bringing him back as long as it's on a cheaper deal, 1-year deal. Will Harris is a free agent. Wouldn't mind bringing him back just to be a nickel type of guy, or slot corner. And Amani Oruwariye is going to be gone. I would assume he's had a rough year. But other than that, there's no one like Bugs is a free agent. Could bring him back. If they don't, it's not the end of the world. But he had a good year for us. So really excited for this offseason for Detroit. But let's talk about the offseason for the team that we beat last night. Because last night after the Lions won, it was all Aaron Rodgers. Even after they lost, the camera's just on Aaron Rodgers the entire time. Like, bruh, who just won the football game?
Yeah.
But whatever, I get it, because this could be his last game. Will Aaron Rodgers be in a Packers uniform next year, whether that is retirement or, requesting a trade to go to another team?
I have no idea. I could not predict what's going on in that guy's head at any moment. He feels like at this point in his career, he's much more of a loose cannon than he's ever been. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
He is, though.
You just literally
kind of says whatever he wants.
Yeah, you never know what he's going to do. And he doesn't care about anything. He's to the point of greatness where he can do that. And I'm going to say greatness even as much as I dislike him. But he's done so much that he can do these things. I would think he's going to request a trade, but I wouldn't be surprised if he retires. I really wouldn't be surprised if he was like, you know what, I'm going to walk away from this game.
Georgia touchdown, 17-7 Georgia. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're all right. I really don't know. I think he's fed up with... I don't see him in a Packers uniform no matter what. I think he's fed up with the organization.
I kind of agree, yeah.
I don't think there's anything they could do to convince him to come back.
He is under contract, so obviously he is obligated to be there next year, but we saw the contract negotiations, lockout thing he did last year where he didn't go to training camp. They gave him the largest, per year salary in NFL history, and which he'll be making again next year. But, after the game, I don't know if you saw Alan Lazard's post-game conference. He was pretty much saying, they asked him, do you think Aaron Rodgers will be here? He goes, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to be here. And then like a minute later, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be gone next year. He's straight, he is not going to be on the Packers next year.
That is weird.
And so it's clearly there's some tension in the Packers locker room, which I'm not surprised. I mean, they had a bad year. They were 8-9 and missed the playoffs in a game that they could have won against that team. Can't lose against that team. Well, you lost at home to that team, who was only won there 3 times in 30 years. So, brand new Lions. I know I'm switching back to the Lions, but this team is dangerous next year, dude. Louis Riddick already on ESPN this morning said that the Lions will be Super Bowl contenders next year. He goes, I'm going to be the first one to say it because I know everyone's going to be saying it, but this team is Super Bowl contenders for next year.
That is crazy. That's awesome.
It's crazy, dude.
That's awesome. But one thing that we're bringing in an X Factor player right away that we know is an X Factor, who is Jameson Williams.
Yes.
He
give him and Goff an off season to really figure it out.
He's a game changer type player. He's a player that defenses have to adjust to. Put too high over him. Always know where he's at. Respect him. Amon-Ra doesn't get that type of respect because he's a 15-yard, 20-yard type of guy. He's going to catch you in the middle of the field and go down. J-Mo could give you 4 catches, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, we saw the play he had yesterday is only his lone catch.
He caught it in the middle of the field and just burned it to the sideline.
Literally.
And there was nobody catching him. It would have
been so awesome if that would have been
good, he said, he's not even 100%.
Yeah.
That's not even as fast as he thinks.
Unreal.
He is going to be incredible. This Lions offense is going to be lethal next year. Absolutely lethal. With Jared Goff leading the helm. Exactly. He's going to lead one of the best offenses in the NFL again. Shout out Jared Goff.
I hope so.
Too. He had a bad game, and his bad game was 0 picks.
Yeah, exactly. He
didn't throw a pick.
He has been so good all year.
Good.
He will be back as a starting quarterback next year, whether we draft one or not, unless we get Lamar. But I don't think we're going to. I'm not saying I don't want Lamar because obviously it'd be friggin' sweet. But it seems like this organization has committed to why would we move away from Jared Goff? With the way the season ended and the chemistry that he has with this team. None of the players talk badly about Goff at all. It's all he is a great leader and he's not what everyone thinks he is.
He's trustworthy.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't make mistakes, which is what you want from your QB.
Yeah.
Your QB.
And you got to get him playmakers to make the big plays so he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Obviously, he can make the deep ball. You want him to throw it, but he doesn't have to be the one that's making a crazy play for your team. It's the other guys that he's throwing to. So,
and he read that one where he reared back to launch it deep. It was going to be a bomb, and he got hit. But it was going to be a bomb.
And it was to J-Mo.
Yeah, it was going to be a touchdown. Absolutely. Because J-Mo, I know what J-Mo comes back to the huddle every time and says, there's nobody on the field as fast as me.
No.
I'm just going to run.
It looks like he gets mad every time he comes off the field, but it's I would too if I was him.
If I'm that
give me
fast,
the goddamn ball, dude. I'm going to run off with it. Obviously, and Hutchinson did the Lambeau leap too, which was freaking hilarious.
2 sacks.
So he's defensive rookie of the year. I know that Sauce Gardner's probably going to get it. I don't think he should, especially how last night was and our season ended. We were a better team than the Jets were. I know the Jets had a better defense and everything, but Hutchinson's defensive rookie of the year.
It's actually horseshit that Sauce is it's wrong.
It is.
It's Hutch is literally the best defensive player.
I don't know what the odds are now, but coming into that, obviously Sauce was still the favorite. But Hutch got the national media hype. That's what you need. Sauce has had it all year. Hutchinson is not. He got it last night.
He has the same amount of picks.
He has more picks.
More picks.
Yeah, he's more.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he has more sacks than Chase Young does in his career. Chase Young was defensive rookie of the year 2 years ago.
Literally, if he's not defensive rookie of the year, there's something wrong with the voting.
Yeah.
He has been that good defensively.
Yeah. All right, so before we get into some playoff talk, or playoff prediction, let's look back at me and Easton's playoff predictions from last year. Super Bowl stuff, I don't know yet. We'll go over that when it happens. But we're strictly going off of the 7 teams that we picked to make the playoffs because this is really fun. So we'll see how many each of us got. So in the NFC, for you, your 4 division leaders were the Minnesota Vikings, who won, the Dallas Cowboys, who are in the playoffs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who won, and the Los Angeles Rams, who did not make the playoffs. And then your 3 wildcard teams were the San Francisco 49ers, who are in, the New Orleans Saints, who are not in, and the Lions. I think and the Detroit Lions.
Should be in.
Should be in. Should be in.
So
out of you got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams out of 7 in the NFC.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. Especially for what the Rams
exactly.
did.
I mean, you look at the teams that made it, like the Giants. Who's picking the Giants to make it?
Yep.
The Seahawks. Who's picking the Seahawks to make it?
Jags.
And what's the other team? That's AFC.
Oh, that's AFC. God damn it!
It's time you've done it this episode. And then Philly. You didn't pick Philly, who was the 1 seed, so that's pretty crazy.
Did you pick
it? Let me see.
Yep, let's go.
So my NFC playoff picture, I had the Rams as the 1 seed, Bucks as the 2 seed. So we both had the Rams, and they just didn't. So yeah, Bucks made it. Vikings as the 3 seed, they made it, and Philly was my NFC East champion. And then my wild card teams were the 49ers, the Saints, and the Cowboys.
You also had 4.
So I got Saints and I got 5 because I got Saints and Rams were the 2 teams that didn't make it. So didn't get Giants and Seahawks. I'll take 5 out of 7.
Yeah, especially when you missed the Giants and Seahawks.
We definitely both thought the Saints were going to be solid. They weren't, but
they should have been if they start James Winston all year. Well, if he doesn't break his back,
hurt, but yeah, say he had like a pretty big injury.
Yeah.
AFC for you, you had the Bengals, Bills, Colts, and Chargers as division winners. So 3 out of those 4 teams made it. Not going to talk about the Colts. I already know I had the Colts as like the 1 seed. So. And then your 3 wildcard teams were the Titans, who just missed, the Chiefs, and Raiders. So you got 4 out of 7 again in the AFC.
And then when you really 8 out of 14, that doesn't sound quite as good.
Not really.
It doesn't sound that good.
57%.
It's like a bad weekly fix.
It is, yeah. And then for me in the AFC, I have the Colts as the number 1 seed in the AFC. Just terrible. What a terrible take that was. Bills as 2 seed, Ravens as 3 seed, Chargers as 4 seed, so all 3 of them got in. And then my 3 wildcard teams were the Bengals, Raiders, and Dolphins. So I got 5 out of 7 as well. I got the Raiders and Colts were the 2 teams that missed. Didn't include the Chiefs in the playoffs. I said the Chiefs were going to miss the playoffs this year. Just bad. I should have just
replaced... I didn't have the Chiefs in, right?
You did, yeah. You had them as wild card. Should have just replaced the Colts with the Chiefs.
Yep.
And it would have been looking great. But it didn't happen, so... whatever.
The Colts are just terrible. Like I just hope that they don't get Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn. I don't want them. I don't want those guys to be head coaches.
That's just a terrible idea.
Terrible spot to
stick in Detroit for 1 more year.
Just 1 year.
You'll get a coaching job next year for sure.
You'll get a much bigger and better. Like maybe the Packers job opens up.
Maybe.
Oh my God, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, why would you go there?
Could you imagine? Oh, Ben Johnson calling plays.
It's like
there.
I'm gonna root for him wherever he goes
me
to.
too.
But like if he goes to like the Bears, it's like, I can't do it, man. I'm sorry. I can't do it. All right, so let's get into the playoff games because these are obviously we got to go through it. Like I said, weekly picks was over, so we're not doing the weekly picks song. I know it's whatever, but like it's over anyways.
And there's like a hidden reason. I don't have the earbuds, so we have no idea when it ends and starts.
Anyway, so all right, so let's go over the NFC. The 1 seed Philly obviously doesn't have a game to play. In the NFC, 4:30 on Saturday, we have the 2-seeded San Francisco 49ers hosting the 7-seeded Seattle Seahawks.
49ers all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna write down
Seahawks just don't have a chance.
As well.
Good call. Seahawks are just terrible. They don't belong in the playoffs. Everybody knows the Lions would have had a better shot against 49ers. Do I think they have an incredible chance against the 49ers? No. But do I think they have a better shot than the damn Seahawks? Absolutely.
I mean, it's a divisional game, so like there's definitely a chance that they win this game. A better chance than like your typical 7 seed, but I'm still picking the 49ers for sure. I think I saw something today that all of the matchups in the wild card are rematches of regular season games. Every team has already played this year. That's in a game this year, which is it makes sense because there's 3 divisional games, so it makes sense, but it's pretty cool. All right, Sunday at 4:30. We have games all Saturday, Sunday, Mondays is crazy. 4:30 Sunday, we have the 6-seeded New York Giants heading up to Minnesota to take on the 3-seeded Vikings.
Man, this could be an interesting game. The Giants just haven't been as impressive lately. But they did rest Saquon. They've got like should be fully ready to go Saquon. I think I'm going to go with the Giants because I think the Minnesota Vikings are that fraudulent.
Yeah.
I'm going Giants here.
And
the Giants play with heart. Giants play with heart, too.
They do. And Brian Dable's probably going to be coach of the year. I mean, I think Dan Campbell definitely made a case last night to win coach of the year. But it probably is going to be to Brian Dable. They did make the playoffs, so I'm not going to hate on it that much. But I surprisingly picked Minnesota in this game because these are two teams that are just frauds, and both of them don't deserve to be in the playoffs. So the fact that they played each other week one is just like neither of these teams deserves to get a playoff win under their belt. I'm taking Minnesota because I think the Giants aren't that good either. But Minnesota is just like they're going to end up winning on some crazy bullshit and then lose in the next round.
Yep.
So whatever.
Who cares about that game?
And then the only Monday night game this week, we have the 5-seeded Dallas Cowboys taking on the 4-seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Man, this is so tough. Tom Brady versus the Cowboys.
Hard, dude.
What a big matchup.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be probably one of the most watched games of the season.
Sure.
I mean,
it's
Monday night
too, yeah.
Tom Brady. Oh, man, this game is tough to pick. I think I'm going to go with Tampa. Screw the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Give me Tampa. Tom Brady don't lose much when it comes to playoff football.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though he's looked bad this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is a recipe. Like, you look at the seeds and you're like, oh, well, Tampa's the 4 seed, but they're clearly the worst team. But you got to think about what is going on in this game. You got Tom Brady, who is the playoff GOAT, obviously lost to the Rams last year, but usually does well in the playoffs. Playing against a team that loses in the first round every year of the playoffs. Like, I'm easily taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are they the worst team? For sure, they're the worst team. But Dak is allergic to not throwing interceptions nowadays. I mean, he led the league in picks and, like, missed that, like, 6-game stretch in the middle of the season. He throws, like, 2 a game. I'm taking the Bucs to win this game.
He led the league in picks?
Yeah.
What?
Crazy.
He missed so much time.
I know, it's crazy.
That is insane.
I'm like almost positive he led the league.
Speaking of picks, did you see the rumors of Matt Stafford to the Jets?
Really?
Yeah, I saw that as a
because if
big
McVay,
rumor.
I guess, leaves and it floods everybody could want to leave.
Yeah,
but.
and then Zach Wilson was asked by a reporter today about what was his response to a veteran quarterback coming in. He said he'd give him hell in practice every day. No,
yeah,
probably
sure.
not.
You know what would be a fun idea if we did like right after the playoffs, if we did a starting quarterback prediction for every team in the NFL.
Oh, that would be fun.
Because like obviously most of them are going to be quick. Like
yeah.
Obviously we know who's starting for most of the teams, but like where's Derek Carr going? Where's Stafford going? The rookies, like, do it before the draft.
Yeah, who even starts for the 49ers?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, who starts for Washington? Who starts for New York even, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's... So I think that would be fun.
That would be a fun...
I gotta, like, write that down or something.
Yeah, write that
Actually, I'll
down.
listen to it. I'll remember.
Yeah, good point.
All right,
you write it down and you listen to it.
AFC. We have... Actually, I'm just gonna write it down on here. QB starting... predictions, yeah. All right.
You're almost out of paper in that notebook.
Dude, I know. It's actually crazy. Like, I only got like 3 pages. This is my second notebook, too. Like, my other one's over there. I'm about to buy a third one. That blue one's got some crazy... Like, one of these days, actually, probably until in the summer when there's, like, nothing to do, we got to just look through that notebook and redo a bunch of the shit that's in there. Like, there's a lot of crazy lists that we thought of when we, like, no one listened to our podcast. Like, if we did those now, it'd be so cool. All right, anyways, AFC, Chiefs are obviously the 1 seed. So Saturday at 8:15, we have the 5-seeded LA Chargers taking on the 4-seeded Jacksonville Jaguars.
Give me the Chargers in this game, even though Trevor Lawrence has been balling lately. Trevor Lawrence has really looked good this year. Like in the back half of the year, Trevor Lawrence has looked really good this year. The back half, I should say. But I'm still going Chargers. I
am taking the Chargers as well. It's unfortunate. I do think the Jags for sure can win this game, but I think the Chargers have really strided to end this year. And low key, like this AFC is loaded with like the 3-headed monster of Chiefs, Bengals, Bills. But like the Chargers are a sleeper team to go on a run here in this playoffs. Like I low key think they could make the Super Bowl. It's bold.
That's
like,
bold.
But like,
yep. But you're allowed to make those.
If you're looking for some value, plus 1,100 for this Chargers to win the AFC. I mean, like that's if you're confident, you know. Yep. I'm not, but just saying, just putting that out there.
Throwing it out there.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm doing with the Chargers though. Next, we have at Sunday at 1 p.m., we have a division rivalry. The 7-seeded just snuck in Miami Dolphins taking on the 2-seeded Buffalo Bills.
This game could get interesting However, I'm going to go with the better football team, the Bills. The Dolphins just weren't there the back half of the year. It hasn't looked the same as the start of the year.
It was a rough win against the Jets on Sunday. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Willie because we went through the same dilemma as him on Sunday.
Yes, we did.
The Steelers won, and they did not get in because the Jets could not defeat the Miami Dolphins. Worst game maybe I've ever watched. No touchdowns were scored. Not the Steelers game, the Jets-Dolphins game. I was Flacco versus Skylar Thompson. It's just like
that's a matchup
in a must-win game. So shout out to Willie for having to go through what we did. Except at least his was like the same time, like the games were at the same time. Like us, we had to watch the other team play and then go watch our team. Like it was rough at first.
It was.
We adjusted. Give me Buffalo though. DeMar Hamlin is back in Buffalo, by the way, which is just awesome news. That he is back in Buffalo from being in Cincinnati for the past week or so. Just a crazy story that he is, the way he is now. And,
he's recovered so
yeah, exactly.
well.
Like his recovery's been awesome. He's been tweeting a lot. When Nyheim Hines returned that initial kick return, he went crazy on Twitter. It's just like amazing, and everything the NFL has done and the NFL fan base has done to really support him and his family. It shows how powerful sports are.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's just a beautiful, beautiful image of when humans come together, what can happen.
Exactly. And, the fans at the Bills-Bengals game, like even the fans watching, like the game doesn't matter, It's just like it's about him and I think that's gonna really lead the Bills throughout these playoffs. It's really gonna inspire them to try and obviously win. I mean, they were going to already, but like this just adds another element.
Yeah,
to
especially knowing their teammate is in good spirits.
Yeah,
now.
for sure.
That's huge. If it would have been any other way, I would have said maybe it goes the other way.
Right.
But knowing your teammate's in good spirits, man, you're going out and playing with him in your mind every day.
So yeah, I'm taking the Bills. And then last first round matchup, another division rivalry, Sunday Night Football. These two teams played last week. The 6-seeded Baltimore Ravens taking on the 3-seeded Cincinnati Bengals.
I don't see the Ravens really winning this game. I think the Bengals are just going to turn up. Joey B, playoff Joey Burr is going to dominate. Give me the Bengals in this game.
I am taking the Baltimore Ravens in an upset. I didn't take any upsets. I mean, unless you're counting Tampa over Dallas, I think it technically is an upset. But I didn't take that. Chargers over Jags, seeded as an upset. This is a true upset, though. Last week, Joe Mixon pulls out the coin out of his sock after scoring the touchdown after the whole, if they would have lost, they would have had to flip a coin to see who wins the division. What a crazy idea.
Crazy idea.
So, the Bengals were definitely mad about that, and they showed it. They won big on Sunday. Lamar Jackson is going to be back for these playoffs. He is unpaid right now, currently at the moment. He wants to get paid. He's got to show these Baltimore fans that I'm here to stay and I'm getting the bag. And I think that he is going to lead this team to a win at Cincinnati. It's going to be a dogfight. They're mad about losing to him last week. I like Cincinnati going forward. They're another team that I could easily see making the Super Bowl again. But I'm going to take them to get upset by the Baltimore Ravens. So.
Upsets happen every year.
Exactly.
So they gotta pick one.
Somebody's got to do one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't take the Chiefs. I can't pick an upset on the Chiefs though.
Chiefs,
upsets in the AFC.
Well, Chiefs are 1 seed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to take them to lose.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. But yeah, like you picked the Giants over the Vikings.
Yeah.
So, all right. But right now, Super Bowl prediction at the beginning of the playoffs. Right now, 2 teams in the Super Bowl and the winner. Let's see it and who's ends up being right.
49ers, Bills. I'm going to stick with my guns. I said 49ers at the very start of the year. I'm sticking to 49ers winning the Super Bowl. I'm sticking to it.
Nice.
I said it at the very start of the year. I'm not switching up now, even though I definitely could see the Bills winning it.
Yeah.
But I'm going 49ers, Bills.
My beginning of the year prediction was...
mine was 49ers, Bills at the start of the year.
I know was I had the Bucks winning it all again. I had them winning it a second time in 3 years. I can't remember. No, it was Chiefs. I said Bucks, Chiefs, rematch.
Yeah, you
rematch.
did.
Or wait, no, I said that when we did our one like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I had the Chiefs beating the Bucks.
Did you say Chargers?
But I think I know I had Bucks winning it all at the beginning of the year, so I've been just rocking with them still. But who is my? I think I did Bills Bucks. I think I did do Bills Bucks. I will have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But I'm doing Bills Bucks. I am doing Bills Bucks again. Tom Brady is gonna make the friggin' Super Bowl. The only reason I didn't is because I think San Fran is the easy pick. I honestly think they are the favorite in my eyes over Philadelphia. and I just didn't really want to pick them because, I guess mainly I knew you were going to take them.
I am, yeah.
And I'm not going to take Minnesota or Dallas or New York or any of these other teams. And Philly, they definitely could. But I don't know. I really don't think they're going to. I think it is going to be San Fran for sure. So why not take the crazy pick? I'm going to take the Bucks, but the Bills will beat the Bucks. So Bills over Tampa for my Super Bowl prediction.
I probably would go with the Bills if it wasn't for me picking 49ers at the start. But and with the season that the 49ers had, it's crazy that they're still here.
I know.
In contention with Brock Purdy starting. They're Mr. Relevant.
They haven't lost in a while. They've won 10 or 11 straight games.
Incredible. Their team is unbelievable. Talent everywhere.
For sure. All right, so before we get into basketball talk, quickly, let's go over the final draft order because now we know the top 18, but I'm only going over the top 10. Chicago wins the first overall pick after Davis Mills, Hail Mary with 20 seconds left, wins the game, and they go for 2 and get it. That's cool and everything, but are you going to remember that game, or are you going to remember not having the first pick and not getting Bryce Young? Who knows? Not saying Chicago is going to draft Bryce Young, but this is what I was going to get at. Is there a trade that will go down for Bryce Young? It opens the door for Chicago to really gain some assets here.
Yeah, I think you totally do. I think why wouldn't you trade down? Because they traded up for Fields.
Right.
And so now you can trade down. You have your QB. You got your QB and you traded up for him. So now the logical thing would be to trade down and get those assets back.
It's just can somebody pay the price where because you are going to lose out on getting one of them generational defensive players with Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. So, unless Indianapolis.
So who was the third? Yeah.
The Cardinals. Let me just go over it and then we'll talk about this. So Chicago has 1. Houston has 2. Arizona has 3, who just fired Cliff Kingsbury, by the way. And Houston fired Lovie Smith.
Immediately after the game.
Yeah, which is unreal. 4 is the Indianapolis Colts. 5 is the Seahawks via the Broncos. 6 is the Lions via the Rams. Raiders 7, Falcons 8, Panthers 9, and Eagles have the 10th pick via the Saints. So
realistically, the Colts are going to be the team that would trade up.
Right, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But at the same time, do you have to trade up? Because Chicago's not going to draft a QB. There's no they're not unless they say they are going to.
Yep.
Arizona most likely doesn't draft a QB unless they decide with firing Cliff Kingsbury they want to rebuild and they deal Kyler to another team. Most likely defense goes at 1 and 3, so you get either Bryce Young or Stroud at 4 if you're comfortable with that. Unless you really want Bryce Young, then you move up to 1. But yeah, it's tough for Chicago. If you can move down to 4 with the Colts,
that's insane.
I think you do it.
Yeah, sure.
But if it's anything lower than that,
no,
it has to be the bag. It has to be multiple future first-round picks to fall. Which maybe you do because they don't have a lot of talent on their team right now.
So who's the second defensive player off the board? Because obviously Cardinals take Will Anderson.
Yeah, probably Jalen Carter. There's talk about Jalen Carter going first as well. So it's obviously there's a lot of talk. He's obviously playing in this game right now. But the Lions, though, pick 6, pick 18. We've talked a lot about the Lions, so we don't need to talk anymore. But let's talk about this scenario. Would the Bears draft Bryce Young and trade Justin Fields to another team? Decide that, maybe Fields, he's an electric player for sure, but how far are we from competing with a quarterback that can't really throw the ball? He is a runner. So is there a world where that happens?
I think they're all in on Justin Fields. I don't see a world where they don't stay. I think it'd be crazy disrespectful.
It for sure would be. It'd be very, very disrespectful.
Because Fields hasn't done anything wrong. Yeah. He turned up.
It happened with the only recent time this has happened is when the Cardinals got the first pick and drafted Kyler Murray the year after drafting Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
But Josh Rosen also was terrible.
Yeah.
Fields was pretty terrible his rookie year too, but this is 2 years now of Justin Fields.
And he turned up.
And he was pretty good his second, rushing wise, obviously.
Yeah, he just made winning plays.
Yeah.
And that's what you want your QB to do. But I can understand the fact that he doesn't throw the football very well. So I also get that side of the argument. But
do you draft Bryce Young and move Fields to running back?
Or wide receiver, tight end, or something crazy?
It'd be actually, I would respect the hell out of the Bears if they were we're drafting Bryce Young, but Fields is still here.
What if they ran a 2 QB offense?
Right, but mainly it was Fields as a back, but he could throw.
Well, you just direct snap it to each of them.
Yeah.
Fields, you're either running it or you've got one in every 5 plays you throw.
It probably would not work. But like
I could see it working
at some point. Like you obviously both of them have to buy into it.
Yeah,
Like it would be difficult as a QB to be like.
What team said they were doing that this year?
The Eagles said it when they drafted Jalen Hurts. It was when they still had. Did they still have Doug Peterson at the time? I think they did. Because they had Wentz still. Yep. It was Wentz and Hurts. And they're like, we're gonna run 2 QB offense, and it's like, what?
I would love to see it.
I would too. Like I feel like eventually it will happen.
Me too.
Why not with the Bears?
You have the perfect QBs.
Like, it is funny though because the Bears roster is just god awful. like drafting a quarterback is the last thing you should be doing right now. So yeah, most likely they will just draft defense if the price is not there for somebody to trade up because getting the first overall pick is you're going to have to give a lot.
Yeah, it's not like, you're right. It's not like that's a move you make when your team's already loaded. Yeah. And you're like, okay, let's do something crazy now.
Exactly.
But your team sucks.
And if your team's loaded, you're most likely not just like landing the first overall pick.
Exactly.
So, all right, let's talk about some basketball starting with college. Saturday, Michigan State versus Michigan. Michigan State got the W against the Wolverines. Love to see it to start the year. Gave Michigan their first loss in the conference. And the Big Ten is off to a really tight start in the conference. I think there's only one unbeaten team left in the conference. So what'd you think of the game?
I think I said this too, and when I say this, I mean no disrespect to Michigan State, but if Michigan would have won the game, we would have gotten incredibly lucky. Michigan State played terribly offensively, and when I say played terribly, I mean missing shots.
Yeah, we just missed a lot of shots.
Missed a ton of shots. They got all the open looks they could ever want, and just missed them. Michigan was not getting open looks. They were getting absolutely clamped up. What happened? What was
just
that
threw a
pick?
Yeah. Is that Ringo possibly the next Detroit Lion? I don't think it was him, actually. He's supposed to be in there right around that 6 range, though.
And Michigan never was getting the open shots. Michigan, that was one of the, and I mentioned this during the game, I haven't watched a ton of Michigan hoops this year. Mm-hmm. That was terrible. It was, they're just so easy to defend with the sets and the lack of motion that they do on offense. Feels like we are a complacent offense.
Yeah,
Jet Howard
definitely complacent, yeah.
Never gets an open look. Every shot he takes is a bad take. He just makes some of them, which, yeah, a good scorer is going to do that. Good players make tough shots. But I would love to see him get 4 or 5 open shots a game.
Right.
I don't mind him taking some contested shots mixed in with his open shots, but he only has contested looks. Hunter Dickinson is right now the easiest player to guard in all of college basketball, it feels like, because, and I understand he still averages the points, but you saw Michigan State was sending half-assed double teams. They weren't even fully sending the guy.
He's passing it before the double even gets there.
And he's skipping it to Terrence Williams. And any team ever is fine with him shooting the ball. So I think Michigan's got a lot of problems. This isn't the year by any means, unless a drastic change happens. But Terrace Reed looked pretty good. I can't really think of anybody else that looked really good. Kobe Buffkin had a good game.
Yeah, he had a pretty solid game.
Except he shot the ball terribly.
Yeah, he missed some shots, but like he definitely was like at least attacking the hoop, trying to make plays. And he plays pretty good defense as well. And
Hogard looked good for Michigan State. I was gonna real quick give him my prop. Malik Hall had a great game with some big moments. Those are my 2 Michigan State players that I'm going to commend.
Yeah. Yes, I'll talk about Michigan for a minute. Like, I've watched a good amount of Michigan recently, and obviously I went to the CMU Michigan game, and I was really close, so I got to watch a lot of their game. And in that game, it's taking away Hunter Dickinson is showing to be the default or the downfall of Michigan, or that's how you get them to play poorly. You look in the game against Maryland and the game against Penn State the other night when Michigan had 2 pretty solid wins, especially against Maryland. Hunter Dickinson dominates. I mean, he gets the ball all game, gets good looks, gets buckets. If you as a defense hone in on taking him out of the game and making their other players beat you, no one is going to try to get Dickinson involved. You know, it's just going to be like, all right, it's my time to shine now, which is, it could be, you know, like it definitely could be. In the game against CMU specifically, because that was one that was really eye-opening to me. They ran a zone, and Dickinson was he was mainly playing the elbows and then played a little bit of short corner. But he catches the ball, gets doubled, and kicks it. Dickinson is, I will say, he is a really good skip passer. Like, he does always find the open man for sure. But Michigan just doesn't really make a lot of shots. Even Jet Howard was getting open looks in that one and was hitting a few, but not as much as you'd like. So it's not mainly a Dickinson thing. I think it's as a collective, Michigan needs to work to utilize Dickinson
better.
better. I mean, and me and Jake have been talking about this as well. Like Michigan losing Jalen Llewellyn and just in general not having an experienced elite guard is going to hurt them in the long run, because that is the guys that get the rest of your guys involved, especially a guy like Hunter Dickinson. I mean, hypothetically, obviously, like if you put AJ Hoggard on this Michigan team, like I think him and Dickinson would be dangerous.
They'd
like he would utilize Dickinson super well. So, and Doug McDaniel has definitely been like serviceable for his. No one expected him to play this much as an undersized freshman too. So he's definitely like not been that bad. But in general, like Michigan just doesn't have the guard play that you really need with an elite big like Dickinson.
I mean, they hardly have the wing play, it feels like at times. But I totally agree. I think like you said, the way to get Dickinson is really, you saw them do it all game. They pushed him into that deep short corner where he only had the option to go middle.
Right. Or maybe shoot it.
But they would send the double to the middle. They wouldn't send him along the baseline. They'd send him to the middle. So if Hunter Dickinson went middle, he was instantly double.
Right.
And it was just, it didn't work.
And he doesn't really try to split the double too hard. You know, he just kicks it right away. And it's like, I get you do that for a while, but when your team continuously misses shots after shot after shot, it's like, all right, fake a pass or something.
Try something new. Catch it. And like he was getting a couple elbow catches.
And he started to get going late in the second half. But
even like his flips though don't look good. His dribble handoffs don't look great. His ball screens aren't great.
No.
The Michigan offense is just very poor right now.
Luckily for Michigan, their next 3 games are not terrible because the Big Ten is a tough conference this year, like it usually is. Michigan's next 3, they're at Iowa on Thursday. Iowa's a sneaky team this year. They're definitely a little bit down to what typically they are. Northwestern on Sunday, and Northwestern they are good this year. I mean, they are one of the best defensive teams in the Big Ten right now. They upset Michigan State earlier this year. That's definitely not going to be an easy game. And then they take on Maryland again next Thursday at Maryland. And Maryland's going to be looking to get their revenge. But MSU, I just want to say, AJ Hoggard played phenomenally. He is really fighting to be that, first team all Big Ten guard this year, because I think he definitely could be. I think he averages, he's top 5 in the country in assists per game right now, or in the Big Ten, excuse me. And he's scoring the ball really well. He's been hitting his mid-range a lot, which is huge for us. Joey Hauser had a decent game. He's really hit or miss. We kind of know what we're getting out of Joey Hauser, but the guard combination of Hoggard and Tyson Walker is something that I am very excited for going forward. But we have a lot of issues we got to clean up. Like you said, it was an ugly game. MSU played really well defensively. We typically do, but we just did not shoot the ball well. We were getting, like you said, good looks. Like I thought we played good offensively, honestly. We didn't turn the ball over an extreme amount either. It was just missing shots after shots. But Malik Hall stepped up, and so did AJ Hoggard.
Yeah, and I don't expect Tyson Walker to have a shooting performance like that again.
Yeah, that was one of his worst I've seen. So
yeah, and I really like Tyson.
And a couple
Walker.
of his misses or makes were
it was
lucky makes too. So MSU's next 3, we have an insane January. It's going to be real. I think Ken Pom predicted us to lose 7 out of our next 8 games or something.
Whoa!
It is going to be rough. Our next 3 tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we are at Wisconsin. They're ranked number 18 in the country right now. Friday, we are at Illinois. Illinois just upset Wisconsin. I think they beat Wisconsin at home. And Illinois has been hit or miss this year, too. And then we have Purdue on MLK Day, and Purdue is the number 3 team in the country. So it is going to be a gauntlet, and that's just the next 3. It gets even harder after that. So we'll see how we play against these good Big Ten teams. All right, we ready to talk NBA?
Europe.
Let's do a quick little Pistons update before we do our MVP race. Pistons during the day yesterday took on the Philadelphia 76ers. Was a bad game. I didn't watch too much of it because there was obviously football games on. But Killian Hayes had 26 points, hit 4 threes, continues to shine. Beef Stew played well. Jalen Duren did not play. Joel Embiid did not play for the Sixers either. But Pistons are in kind of a weird situation right now because Hamidou Diallo has earned minutes. And Kevin Knox has kind of fallen out of the rotation when everyone is healthy. Which is unfortunate because I liked the Kevin Knox minutes. And Marvin Bagley is going to be out for how long? 6 to 8 weeks, I'm pretty sure. It was a wrist injury, I believe. Just sucks for Marvin Bagley, man, because we re-signed him, and I already see fans saying, why did we re-sign him?
Because he was
it's
good
just so
when he played
easy
with
to say
Cade.
that now. It's so easy to say that now. He's having a solid season.
And without Cade, it's just Bagley wasn't good until Cade played with him.
Right, yeah.
Like when Bagley got to the Pistons and Cade was hurt, it was kind of like, oh man, he doesn't look good. All of a sudden Cade came out and it was the lobs.
Yeah.
It was the lob threat that we had. And Duren, I think, Duren kind of fills that
Duren has
role
become
now.
the lob threat, low-key.
So that's kind of part of the issue as well.
Yeah, I think Duren has, like, Bagley's role has been diminished because of Jalen Duren.
He's so good.
Exactly. Like, Duren has just been, you need to start him.
Yeah,
like,
he's a monster.
Doesn't matter how old he is. But Bagley's injured. It sucks, but I hope he can get well and finish the year strong with us.
He's still got 2 more years though, right?
Yeah.
3-year deal.
I think it was 2 + 1, so maybe only one more
Which
year.
might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart to do it like that. But yeah, Pistons right now, I mean, it's just not much to talk about, except Killian Hayes is continuing to make his case to be a starter next year. I mean, like, if we're being realistic, like, we have not seen the Killa Cade, like, on the floor together in a long time, like since Cade's rookie year, and it didn't last very long, until they moved Killian to the bench. So I'm excited to see that work again next year, because Killian is, I mean, he is like legit now. Like he's I love watching Killian play, and I don't want to say he's better than Jaden Ivey, or at least he is going forward, but I don't know. I'm not sure if what fits better next year. Like, do we try to run a lineup of Ivy, Killian, and Cade? It could be big enough. Like, who knows?
Well, especially when we start beef stew and Duren at 4 and 5.
Exactly. I mean, could that lineup work? It depends. Obviously, we'll see. But that's pretty much it. There's not much else to talk about. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Really quick, how different is that from a lineup of? That's pretty different.
Like having instead of like Sadiq, or
well, I was gonna say Mobley, Allen, Okoro, Mitchell, and Garland.
Yeah,
but those are just much bigger bigs.
Yeah, and like Okoro's like strictly like. I mean, he doesn't even play that much anymore. Like, I think like LeVert obviously would be the guy you'd go to, but that's. I mean, it's definitely different. It's definitely different, but I get what you're saying. It's like a 3 smaller, because like, I mean, especially Mitchell and Garland, they're both like
tiny.
6'1". So
it's definitely possible they're on that short of a backcourt. I mean, even Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, exactly.
Did it. And Cade is 6'6", so it's not like he's undersized.
Yeah, and I mean, we could talk more NBA right now, but I feel like this was mainly an NFL episode. We got a lot of time to talk about basketball as the season goes on. But let's get into our MVP race in the NBA. This is the hardest list ever because there's so many good players right now. We're doing a top 6. And, like, you could switch these guys 1 through 6, and it would be okay.
Yep.
Like, that's how crazy these 6 guys have been. My list is really, like, I don't really care that much about it. I just wanted to do it because I think it'd be fun.
Me too.
And I kind of wanted to see how you had yours. So,
well, there's the infinite debate about what does the most valuable player even look like.
Exactly. I did put 2 honorable mentions because there's so many good players, so I figured I would at least give love to these guys since we're adding an extra one anyways. Ja Morant and Donovan Mitchell are my honorable mentions.
I've got 3 honorable mentions. Ja Morant, Donovan Mitchell. Screw it, LeBron James. Yeah. Dude's been balling. I
probably should have put LeBron James.
Like, he's been absolutely redonkulous. Yeah. He's been putting up numbers.
And the Lakers were winning. I mean,
he's 32 again.
They're not above 500, but they're winning games
right now. So he's climbing up the ladder. So I have honorable mention. He's lowest on the honorable mention behind John D. Mitch, but I had to throw him on there.
Yeah. All right, number 6. Who you got?
My number 6 is Joel Embiid. The 76ers are currently sitting at 24-15, which puts them right in the middle of the pack. They're like in middle of the pack in the East. It means they could win a game and jump up to 3, or lose a game and drop out. He's averaging 34 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. These are all rounded. 34 points is ridiculous.
Leading scorer
for
in
a
the
big
NBA
man.
Right now.
It is just absolutely unreal. He has been so good. He's the most skilled big man we've seen in forever.
Yeah.
To scoring the ball wise.
Yeah, my number 6 is Joel Embiid as well. I think I put him on here because he's played the least amount of games out of any of these other 6 guys. Kind of a cop-out. Also, his team is like the most made. I mean, like the Mavericks they're like the same record pretty much.
But you watch a Mavericks game, and Luka's higher than Embiid.
It's a little different. So Embiid is my number 6, but it just feels dirty. The dude's averaging 34 points a game, like as a center, and he's the leading scorer in the NBA right now. He's doing it all. You went over his numbers, so he's my number 6.
My number 5 is Jason Tatum. The Celtics are currently 28-12. He's averaging 31 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. The reason I didn't stick Jason Tatum higher is his team is just actually ridiculous. Like, he has such a good roster. The Celtics have made such a good team around Jason Tatum, and obviously he's also a baller. You watch a game, and every single game he's had against all these other MVP candidates, he's put up like 41 or something.
Yeah.
He's put up ridiculous stat lines against the other MVP candidates, so I can see that an argument for him being higher, but he doesn't do, like, everything the same way some of these other guys do, and that's where I have him lower. However, you talk about, I mean, the skill level is definitely there. He just isn't asked or required to do as much for his team. So that's why I don't have him as higher on the MVP list.
My number 5 is Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets. Kind of another cop-out here. I put him at 5 because, like, he just got injured and he's going to be out for the next month, I'm pretty sure they said. It's a pretty, you know, like, I only put him low because of that. It's just, like, it made it easy for me, I guess, to put him at the bottom of this list. I could understand him being in the top 3. KD's averaging 30 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, a block and a half, too, which I didn't even realize. And the Nets are the hottest team in the NBA right now, which obviously helps, led by Kevin Durant. He's shooting 56% from the field. That's crazy coming from Kevin Durant because you know the type of shots Kevin Durant be taking. Tough shot after tough shot. And that Nets team is really flourishing. I think Ben Simmons, not to go off on a rant here, but he hasn't been talked about much. It's because I think he fits this. He has a new role. You know, the first 2 weeks of the year was like, oh, Ben Simmons isn't scoring. He can't score. Now it's like, yeah, he's still not scoring, but like, it's winning games.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to score the ball. Like they don't. That's not why he's there. He's a perfect fit to play with the duo of KD and Kyrie.
Yeah, and Kyrie's been so solid since coming back. And that's I think been the huge thing. Ben Simmons has no pressure anymore to score the ball.
Yeah.
So nobody, and if they're winning games and he's not scoring, who cares? I mean, Draymond Green, the Warriors win games.
Draymond.
The Warriors win games. Draymond scores 8 points a game, and people don't say shit about him.
Yeah, I mean,
because
I think Ben
you see how
Simmons
great
is
he
legit
is.
averaging like 10 a game right now.
Yeah.
Like,
it's totally.
He doesn't care about being an all-star anymore.
It's pretty cool to see this from the Brooklyn Nets. It sucks so badly that Kevin Durant got
hurt. And he gets
so
hurt
sad,
for like
man.
a span of time, like every year nowadays. It kind of, I mean, it makes sense because he just like
he's a huge guy.
He plays a lot of minutes too. They said this injury is not as significant as his, because it's the same thing he had last year. I can't remember exactly.
It's a meniscus sprain.
Yeah. But they said it's not as serious as last year's injury. So hopefully he'll be back soon. Georgia just scores a touchdown to go up 31-7 right before the half.
Damn, this game
minus 13.5 is looking good.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. All right, number 4.
My number 4 is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Bucks are currently sitting at 25-14 and have been sliding recently. They have not been playing good basketball. They lost to the Hornets the other night.
Oh, dude, that was bad.
Bad loss to the Hornets.
I started him and Brook.
Didn't Giannis play like 22 minutes or something ridiculous?
Because it was like a blowout instantly. Like none of the starters played like over big minutes. And I started him and Brook, and they combined for like 8 fantasy points. After Giannis has been going off. Yeah. It was like, luckily I was playing Tebow and I won, but like that was rough.
He just hasn't been. He's been great this year, but the only reason right now, currently in the MVP ladder, he's low is because the Bucks have been sliding. He's still averaging 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. He might be he's the most unique center in the NBA right now because he's just so weird. He's just such a freak out there. But Giannis, number 4.
My number 4 is Jason Tatum. You've already named everything off. He's on the best team in the NBA right now, and he's the leader of it, and he is an efficient scorer. All these guys are averaging over 30 points a game except for one guy. So, Tatum, number 4.
My number 3 is Nikola Jokic. This is the story of a guy who does it all for his team. The Nuggets have climbed to the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. They are balling. They are playing well. He's turned Aaron Gordon into maybe an all-star. Out of nowhere. I don't think he deserves it, but
he probably
maybe.
won't, but he's having a career year. Yeah.
He could get it just on the basis of the best team in the league. I hope they don't.
I don't think he will.
Because there's so many better players in the league than Aaron Gordon. But he makes him, I mean, he's revived his career. Yeah. Aaron Gordon has a career as long as he stays a Nugget. Go wherever Jokic goes. If Jokic goes somewhere, you follow. Jokic is averaging 25, 11, and 9.5. I didn't round that one because it'd round up to an average triple-double.
That is a substantial roundup.
Yes, that is. So I'm sticking at 9.5 with that. And he's been balling. And the only reason I'm getting this low is voter fatigue. I'm sick of Jokic winning the award.
No, dude, you can't fall into that. All right, my number 3 is Giannis. I put Giannis above Jason Tatum because I know he did have that like bad game against Charlotte, But before that, the games he was putting up, he had like the 44 and 20 game. He had multiple games in a row with 20-plus rebounds. Like, he was going off for a minute there. Then the whole team fell apart against Charlotte. I think he's going to rebound. I think I started him tonight, actually. I forget who they're playing. I started him tonight, though, strictly because of that. I was like, he's going to go off tonight. So I hope he does. But yeah, Giannis is number 3.
The most impressive thing Giannis does, and I know it sounds crazy, is the way he rebounds the basketball.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how well he rebounds.
I know, it's awesome.
It's so cool. My number 2 is Kevin Durant. What an absolute baller, averaging 37 and 5. I didn't really take into account the injury, which it totally makes sense that he got him that low though, because like he's definitely, if I did this list next week,
it would have been harder.
He would drop.
Exactly. Yeah. It would have made it harder for me to not put him there.
But the Nets hottest team in the league, so this is my MVP ladder, so that's why I've got him at 2. Just what an absolute baller.
My number 2 is Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. We would have made this list a week ago when we talked about doing the podcast. Luka might have been at number 6 for me because the Dallas Mavericks were like 500, and they've been winning some games lately. They're 23 and 18 right now, so they are up to that point where it's like, okay, I feel comfortable putting him up here because they're winning games. Obviously, he had that insane 60-point triple-double. Oh, we never mentioned that Donovan Mitchell scored 71 points, too.
Donovan Mitchell scored 71.
Yeah, if you didn't see it, it was cool. But yeah, Luka is averaging 34, 9 and 9, basically, on 50% shooting, 35% from 3, and they're 23 and 18. They're starting to do better. If Luka brings this team to 48 wins, 47 wins, he probably wins the MVP, but there's a guy above him that is doing it better right now.
My number 1 is Luka Doncic. You said all of his numbers. The Mavericks are winning a lot more games lately. The reason I have him as my number 1 most valuable player is because when I watch the game, the team doesn't run without him. Literally. And you could say the same thing about Jokic. He
carries the team.
Jokic can be said, but Jokic doesn't carry the team the way that Luka literally, Dinwiddie and Christian Wood being number 2 and number 3 is ridiculous. Dinwiddie's been bad this year.
Yeah.
Dinwiddie has not been good as a
Christian
second
Wood's
option.
been solid. But
he has been. But, and then the rest of the roster is terrible. And they're winning games because Luka's doing the most ridiculous things
picked off
ever.
with 30 seconds to go in the half?
Oh, no.
Man, this is ugly, dude. Could have been Michigan, dude.
Should have been. But it's... I don't know what I was saying. It's the heliocentric offense. I think the definition of value, I think that is why I've got Luka as number 1.
100% makes sense. My number 1 is Nikola Jokic, basically averaging a 25-point triple-double, and his efficiency is unreal, 61% shooting, 37% from 3.
It's crazy.
I would probably say the second hottest team in the NBA right now, hottest team in the West. They're now the 1 seed in the West. I think they're the best team at home as well this year in the NBA. He has just been, like you said, he does carry this team just like Luka does. Maybe not to the extent because he has better players on the team, but the team runs through through Jokic.
Totally,
we all know that. And I want him to win his 3rd straight. I think it'd be freaking cool.
It would be.
That's pretty much it. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Go check us out on TikTok. Everything. You know the deal.
Yep.
Bye.
Peace.